So for those of you who were here yesterday, we dived into several topics that will explain how the notion of the travel platform is expanding as technology, including AI and blockchain and the web and connectivity and data objects, all of those things contribute to what you as travel providers and what travelers can expect from what we consider to be the travel platform. Today we're going to take a slightly adjacent look to that, not the hardcore of the platform, but the part of the platform that makes the interaction more personable and capable of being more personal. And of course the first thing to set us up really is the mobile device. We are all so much more dependent on it, so we're delighted to have Vincent here today, who is responsible for the mobile strategy at Air France, to tell us what they have been learning and what they've been deploying. So please welcome Vincent.
Can you hear me? Yes. Wow. That makes a hell of a difference. Welcome to all of you. Thank you for attending. I am Vincent Fillon, Vincent in English. I'm responsible for mobile and conversational at Air France Digital. So it's all about the customer. That's what we've been saying for the introductory speech yesterday. And I will try to make 2 points in this presentation. It's all about the customer in his journey and how can you, as an airline, because we are an airline, accompany the customer throughout the journey, and also be where the customer is can also be taken as be in his customer segment. And I will also try to address the question of segments and how you react to this in what you're doing. But first and foremost, some figures on what Air France can be. I'm not sure you are so familiar with these figures. Just a small question. How many of you already flew Air France before? Well, not bad. Wow, not bad, not bad. And how many of you did actually use the Air France app to do so? Thank you, Penny. Okay, good. That's kind of illustrative of what I'm going to say. Air France is, of course, one of the major airlines in the world. What we are doing at Digital is basically everything that is B2C related within Digital. That includes, of course, the sales of our tickets, which is a very key part. And you'd see that we have a 3.3 billion euro turnover made in terms of direct online revenue each year. What happens is that basically direct online is covering almost all our direct sales now. But still, we have a very important part of our revenue that is generated by indirect sales, OTAs, travel agents in general, and especially for the high-yield customers. So 33% of our coupons are actually sold direct online. We are, of course, making a lot of money on ancillaries, a lot of money considering the margin that we make as an airline. And the other figure I will want to stress is the 65% of visits that are actually done using a mobile device on our Air France ecosystem. So this figure has been growing very fast these past few years, to the point where today desktop is really a minority device. Social media is very important for us, of course. Very quickly we were driven into social media by what our customers were doing, and we are doing communication and commerce through social media, but also social media servicing. And we are helping our customers 7 days, 24 hours in 9 languages. So with a follow the sun strategy in our call centers. And this is a very important part of what we are doing, and I will come back to it as well. Of course, a lot of different countries. Air France is a very international company in terms of turnover, and we are actually the first e-merchant in France in foreign countries. We are the biggest foreign selling e-merchant in France. Our strategy in general could be summed up like this: win the heart of our customers by delivering a memorable and personal experience wherever they are. So this is something very striking, I think, when you compare us to other players. We are really into selling for sure, but into accompanying customers and trying to enrich his experience through digital. This translated to 4 pillars: know me better, help me faster, wow me everywhere, and change the way we work. Well, the last one is more for us, I guess. It's the perpetual challenge of being more agile. But the other ones are very much about relieving the pain points in the customer journey and leveraging the knowledge we have about our customers. So why am I still in 2018 standing on this stage talking about mobile? That sounds a bit 2010-ish. Do you say that? 2010-ish? But it's a fact. Well, first, mobile is the new standard for consuming your digital ecosystem. We saw the figure for Air France. 65% of your visits are made on mobile. It's a very important part. And actually, it's driven by what you are doing in terms of traffic acquisition. You are sending emails to customer. Email is a mobile-first channel. You are using social media to do social ads. This is a mobile-first channel as well. And so really, this part is unmistakable. You have the new standard in front of you of consuming the internet. But for an airline, mobile is much more than this. And I think that's why I still have a role to play as the mobile guy within Air France. The first thing is that we are all talking about personalization all the time. We are really focusing on this, leveraging the data, etc. But for us, mobile is really I would say the unique touch point where you can really deliver very personalized experience. I will come back to this. There is a barometer that is published in France, a mobile usage barometer, published by the Electronic Business Group in France. It was published last month, and it says something interesting. 47% of the tablet users are actually sharing their tablet with other users. When you ask the same question to mobile users, only 9% would lend their mobile. So mobile is really a very personal device. And there is something else for us, for an airline. It's the only device that you are always carrying with you all through your journey. And your journey is not an easy one when you are flying with us. So it all starts with selling online, one of the most difficult products to sell. Traveling usually involves several people, takes weeks of analysis, of comparing, of deciding. Then once you actually booked and you paid, you have to prepare for your flight, understand what you are entitled to in your flight in terms of luggage, understand where you should go, understand also the legal things you need to do, the legal information you need to provide for flying. So the preparation is very important. Then you need to check in to get your magic boarding pass. Then you need to get to the airport. And at the airport, you will need to go through security. You will need to go through customs. You will probably need to walk quite a bit to try to identify where your gate is. Probably, even in Roissy, take a train inside the terminal to get to your gate. Then you will fly. That's the best part. You can rest. We are in charge. And then you will have to get off. You will probably, like 60% of our passengers, have to connect in a different airport, find the other gate, then fly again and rest again, and then find your luggage. Hopefully they are on the luggage belt. Go to your destination, and then you only did half the thing you need to do. So what I'm trying to say is that really this is a world of opportunities for us to try to help customers in the pain points that this journey can make. And the very unique thing about mobile is that it's the device that you always have with you all through your journey. I will come to it again. But mobile has also unique capabilities that no other touchpoint has. One of them is micro moments. If you think that mobile is actually just another device with a smaller screen and a touchable device, then you're maybe missing something, because how do you consume your mobile? Yeah, maybe during a conference actually, or maybe in the subway or at the coffee break, a cigarette break. So it also delivers a lot of micro moments, micro opportunities, and you need to take that into account when you are analyzing what you're doing on mobile. But mobile is also the place where you can do native developments. iOS, Android, Windows disappeared, one less to develop. These native developments are very costly, but are also very powerful. They give you access to notifications. How important is this ability to push information throughout the journey to the customer? Your gate will be F32. Your luggage belt is luggage belt B. So this is a very key aspect for our experience. Access to agenda. We tried a few months ago, we unfortunately had to retrieve our agenda feature in the app for some technical reasons, and really this was a run for our customers to say, hey, what have you done? I want you to write in my agenda directly. That's something only a mobile can do. Access to wallets, of course, location-based services. So this is really a world of things you can do with a native application that you cannot do with anything else. And one of the key ones for us is offline mode. When I come here, I actually have no data on my phone, or very limited one. Actually, I don't really know, but I suspect if I use my mobile extensively, my data extensively, I will receive a very big bill. So offline mode for us is a very key thing. If you load your boarding pass to your smartphone and then you go to Thailand, maybe you don't have any data in Thailand. So if we want to serve you correctly, the offline mode is very key. So you got it. All you need to do is an app. No, of course, you heard what I said and you know it very well. The first thing you need to do is, of course, deliver all your content on mobile. It's 2018, and it's very trivial, but as a French customer, when I arrive in Heathrow, I wanted to check how to come to here, and I spotted the Heathrow Express, and the Heathrow Express website is not adapted to mobile. It's a desktop page that I had to scroll through very inconveniently. So, well, just always remember that this is the foundation of what you're doing on mobile. But yes, apps are great, and the Air France app is really the flagship of what we are trying to do in terms of experience. I told you it's very personalized. For us, actually, the app is the only place where you can have a persistent login. This is our security policy. I won't come into details with it, but it's the only place where you can really log in once and everything will happen automatically to you in our home screen, which is chrono-responsive. Chrono-responsive means that basically information are changing according to which moment you are from your journey. If you are 45 days in advance, you will be invited to download a beautiful travel guide to try to spot the nice restaurants and the places you should visit. So you are more in the inspiration and desire phase. If you are 2 days before departure, you have a countdown to the check-in. If you are the day of departure, you have the time you need to go to the airport. Which is more efficient, car, taxi, or public transportation? And you will, of course, see your gate. So we are trying to adapt and to personalize the experience as much as we can. We are doing ancillary recommenders. We are doing a gamified profile to try to give you a very personal as well insight on the data we have on you. So it's really the personalized touch points. What we are doing as well is try to leverage these unique things you can do only with apps. Location-based is one. So this is a good example of what we're trying to do. Walking timeline. 60% of our traffic is actually connecting passengers in Roissy-Charles de Gaulle. If you know Roissy, it's not an easy one. So we partnered with Paris Airport, to get this very nice information about what exactly you should expect from your connection. What are the steps, how long they take, and you can then well, understand if you are on a hurry or not in your connection, understand if you will have to take a train, if you will have to go through border, through security, and really be less stressed about your experience. In the same kind of spirit, we delivered this summer. This is the airport maps. We have, I think, 24 airports covered in our app for the moment, where you can really spot where you are and what's around you. But another one, which is really about accompanying the customer in a personalized way, it's Follow My Bag. It's a feature we activated 2 weeks ago. Actually, what happened is that when we were doing co-construction workshops with our customers about big data, for instance, and we were saying, okay, so what can we do with the data we have on you? How can we help? There was a unanimous response. It was, just tell me where my luggage is. And we did it. So this is Follow My Bag. As soon as you drop your luggage at the counter at Air France, it will appear in your app and you can follow your luggage throughout the journey. It's interesting because for me, it's a bit like the previous project we did, which was rate the flight, ability to rate the flight as soon as you go out the plane and it is transmitted directly to our crew. It is not just a technical feature, it is changing a bit the way we work. It's impacting the crew as well. And this kind of, because they will have to deal with the people who don't have their luggage. So this is really, I think, good illustrations of how some digital capabilities can change the approach of the company towards the customer and turn Air France into a very transparent company, ready to hear when things are wrong, ready to deliver information on where are the luggage. We have a great app. We even have two, actually, because we have Air France Play as well. And Air France Play is our entertainment app. So you can download in Air France Play press, newspaper, magazines, video before you fly. Air France Play, so this is really making benefit of the offline mode. Air France Play is actually promised to a very bright future, because as we equip the planes with onboard connectivity, Air France Play is the player, because often in this current digital ecosystem, when you want to stream content, you need an app to do so. So yes, the answer is yes, apps are really great, and at least for us, an airline, they work very fine. We got this app downloaded 7 million times. On an average business day, the app gets downloaded 5,000 times. So that's really a very big stream of people using it. Every month, 1.4 million people are active users of our app. It's our best satisfaction. It's actually also a good seller. 254 million. So more than half the mobile revenue of Air France is actually done from the app, which is quite odd somehow, but true. Next year, probably the app will yield more than 1 million a day. And it's very used by our loyal customers. More than 55% of the most loyal customers are active app users. But here's the crux. Actually, it's very useful for loyal customers, for corporate travelers, but it's not that much known, and it's too much a hassle to get it downloaded for the person who will travel with you only once. So to face the truth, we have huge figures, but this is not the vast majority of our passengers who are using the app. So we are kind of missing something. We cannot help people with this. We can help the most loyal customer, and it's very important, but not everyone. And this is when we come into the segment part. App loyal customers, perfect, or app people, there are app people. But we need to do other things for other people. And we tried a few things. First option, have you heard of progressive web apps? So it's a technology that Google is really pushing today. And basically, it's trying to overcome the limitations of what a mobile website can have, to try to give an app-like capability to a website. Offline mode, better response time, better responsiveness. Add to home screen, so you can re-engage very easily, and also notifications. So we did that. It's actually quite easy to do. We did incrementally, and we didn't reinvent the wheel. We did it on top of our mobile web. It was quite easy to do. And it's a very interesting feature. Though, for instance, notifications cannot be used on iOS devices. And most of our customers are using iOS. So you kind of have limitations in this as well, in your customer segment. And also, it's not yet a habit for people to opt-in notifications from a website. They know apps, and they know apps usually prompt you for an opt-in for notifications. And they do it. In a mobile web, you need to do it proactively. Customer engagement is not yet there, but it's still quite interesting. And I think according to your business model, it can be very interesting. For instance, if you are doing events like this, progressive web app is the way to go. So interesting, but, and by the way, it's quite hard to track as well, because the offline mode, for instance, in a website, well, a website tagging is usually made to work online. So sometimes we are still struggling to really measure the engagement through this. Okay, so that was interesting, but still we didn't solve the problem for most of our users. But what are they doing when they are using their smartphones? What are they doing? We know that 90% of the time is spent in apps. Well, we also understood that not necessarily in Air France app, to be very honest. So what are they doing? Of course, they are using social media and messaging apps. In the same mobile barometer that I quoted a few minutes ago, there was this question of what's the app you would keep if you could have only one. And the answer is Facebook. So we had to make the most of it, to accept this and to make the most of it. And what we did is create the Air France Facebook Messenger experience. So why Facebook Messenger? Mostly because they were the first ones to open their APIs to corporations like us to be able to deliver service automatically through these platforms. So we did it. The first thing you get is that you are prompted, you are pushed an opt-in when you check in or when you book a flight with us. You can opt in a small messenger widget, and then you will receive your booking confirmation, your boarding pass, and all the flight information through Messenger. So we actually solved one of the fundamental things we are trying to do when we accompany the customer. It's also available on WeChat, by the way, and other platforms to come. So WeChat, very key for your Chinese customers, of course. And what we see is, of course, if you cross this messaging reach with AI capabilities and with natural language processing, you can generate great opportunities. We've been doing chatbots just like everyone, but I must admit with quite some success. The first chatbot we did is Louis. Louis is actually able to answer most questions that are asked about luggage. This is a very major concern for our customers to know where their luggage are, etc. So Louis is covering this, and very quickly we saw that Louis had actually a potential to do much more, and he is really helping the customer in more and more fields. We also did some experience chatbot. Lucy was launched in September. She's only in French, sorry, for the moment. And she's actually helping customers to find their next destination. So she's an inspirational bot. The results are surprising in this field. Just because I see I'm running out of time, what did we take out of those 2 years doing messaging and chatbots? Because we actually are about 2 years now. Well, the first thing we noticed is that, of course, if you don't have any APIs, the multiplication of touch points is a super hard challenge. So having APIs is really the basis if you want to go to your customer in all the places where he can be. One other finding we had is that you really have to review everything you thought was reflex in terms of UX. Conversational handling of topics is something very different from building screens, what we are used to. Actually, you probably need to review your content as well, because you will see that most of the content that you have, if you try to serve it through a conversational platform, is just indigest. So you need to do some work on this. Also interesting, the balance between your IT and your business people in the standard product team is very different. In fact, it's very easy for IT to develop these chatbots. It's not a lot of work if APIs exist. It's much less hassle than building screens. But for the business, there are a lot of challenges that are not covered yet. So in our conversational product team, you have more business people than IT people. Routing capability is key. Doing one chatbot in Messenger somewhere is very easy. If you want to do your chatbot in the Air France Messenger, used by everyone and behind which you have so many human advisors that are still necessary for most topics, then you have this routing challenge that takes a bit of time to solve. Of course, you need to be multi-platform. We talked about Messenger, but we see also that in terms of customer segments, Messenger is not covering all our customers, and many people want other things, WeChat to name it, WhatsApp, all the other players. And also, another experience I can share is that for the moment, the UX in these platforms is still to be improved. For instance, you receive your boarding pass, super well, super fine. It's stored locally, by the way. But then if you continue chatting with Air France or with friends, it will be buried in your in the flow of conversation in Messenger. And it's well, quite a bit awkward to retrieve it afterwards. So we see that there are still improvements to be done to fully get the potential. But still, we made it. And what we see is that there is really a complementarity between the people who use this and the people who use our app. They are really different people. And they are different customer segments, especially, as you would guess, there are younger people using Messenger on WhatsApp than our app. So this is what I wanted to share, but to go even further, I have just a few hints of the future. We also did some voice. Once you've done a chatbot, actually, you're almost ready for voice. Huh? So we did as well an Alexa skill. That was launched last spring. Interesting experience. Not a lot of customers talking with Air France and Alexa, to be perfectly transparent, but it's interesting to see, and especially what will it become? What will Alexa become when it's in all the cars, in all the hotel rooms? What will be the customer engagement through these platforms? It's true from Alexa. It's even more true from Google Assistant. So Google Assistant started with Google Home like a voice platform. Actually, it's not this anymore, really. It's really more like the assistant in your smartphone now. So, in a conversational way. So, my question is as well, what will be the habits of Android users next year? Will Google Assistant be the way to access the internet for these users? And it's, I think, a key question that really opens new opportunities as well for us. So, thank you for listening. So then again, what I try to say is you have a lot of opportunity to cover your customers and accompany them where they are in their journey, but also where they are in terms of digital habits. Do we have some time for Q&A?
I think, Louis, can you hear me? You can? Great. Okay, that was fabulous. And if you will let me go, I want to go with the first question. Excuse me. This audience yesterday declared themselves, quite a few of them, as participants in hackathons.
Yep.
And I was interested in the way that you have these build sessions with your customers. Yep. How similar are those, and how do they relate to, I imagine Air France sponsors hackathons, participates in them. Tell us a little bit more about these hands-on sessions where you test in real time and build in real time.
Yes, in fact, we are really trying to put the customer at heart of what we are doing all the time through traditional ways, such as, of course, watching your analytics, also doing polls online. We do that a lot. On messaging platforms, we send polls to people to say, hey, which platform would you use? So this, of course, we are doing a lot of user testing. We are really trying to have users at heart. And then, as you mentioned, according to the topics, we regularly organize sessions where we bring all together in the same room for design thinking workshops, stakeholders, agents, advisors, people that are on the ground, really helping the customers every day, and customers as well. And we are really very openly raising the questions, raising the problems we have, and trying to to do in a very standard design thinking way, to do iterations throughout the day, to have nice prototypes that the customers actually adopt, and they are very influential in this kind of sessions.
Yeah. And that in itself is an experience, by the way. You know, that the customers feel like they are also respected as stakeholders in the development process, which I think is fabulous. We have time for maybe one more question. Any of you, please put your hand up, and there is Alexia with the microphone. No? They need some time to warm up. So anyway, please join me in thanking Vincent for an amazingly detailed presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. So is Eric in the room? Great. All right. So the next presentation is, on the face of it, not an infrastructure or platform presentation. We have Eric, who is the COO and co-founder of Klook, here to describe what the Asian traveler is looking for, what their expectations are, and what are some of the things that you might want to consider if you are taking travelers to Asia, or if you